Hey there everyone, I know a lot of you have been asking how do you add items that you can right click or left click that execute specific abilities or commands to your server, and that is what today's video is going to be about. And this is working on versions 1.12 through 1.16, and there is a free and premium version. I am showing the free version for this video, but the premium one has a little bit more features. So we can go ahead and get started with EI, and I will show you your main help menu right here, EI dash, and then we can go to the show, and I want to show you guys these default examples just to show you guys what you can do with this plugin. So first one we have is this Epic Anvil, which allows you to right click it, and it will pretty much add slowness to anyone in a 50 block radius of you for 15 seconds. Next we have the Snowball, which kind of does the same thing, but your Snowball has a 10-second delay on it, and it gives slowness for 15 seconds. Then we have a Fly. This is kind of like a voucher system, so you could have a Fly voucher. This gives you Fly for 10 minutes, and then it will take that Fly away. And then while you're holding it, you also increase your speed as well, which is really nice. So it can detect when you right click it or if you're holding it. Next we have this Mega Heal, which will heal everyone on the server. And then next we have the Lottery, which allows you to set specific amount of percents to execute. So as you see, we have three 33% values, and each one of those could have a chance to execute. Last but not least, we have the Money, which detects if you're clicking as well as if you're sneaking to give you $5,000. So we can go ahead and actually test out the item, and we'll give every single item to ourselves. So we have all the items in our inventory, and currently there's no one online, but if we go ahead and right click, that would actually activate to anyone that is around us in a 50 block radius. And then the Snowball would do the same thing pretty much. Then we have the Fly voucher, and as you see, my speed has gone quite a bit since holding it. If we go off the speed one right here, we have just went back to normal speed, but if we hold it, as you see, we get some pretty cool stuff. So we can right click on this. It has really nice potion effects surrounding us, and it has this nice countdown timer in our action bar saying how much time of Fly we have left, which is really cool, guys. So we have about 10 minutes of Fly, so we can just fly around, and it will be constantly activated no matter what. So even if we are not even holding the Fly voucher, we can still fly around, which is really awesome. Here, take some damage, and then we can test out the potion effect here, and this would heal everyone on the server. And as you see, we have remaining uses, so we can use this for 3 times, but we do have the cooldown, and if I try to use it again, we have a nice little message in chat indicating that. Then we have the Lottery item, which will give those percent amounts. So let's see what we can get. We are executing the Lottery item, and is opening 3, 2, 1, and oh, we just got strength 2 for 30 seconds. That's pretty lucky. I do like that one, so we can definitely destroy some people in PvP. Last but not least, we have our piggy bank right here, and if we try to click on it, as you see, it does detect if we need to sneak, so we need to sneak and right click, and it will give us $5,000, which is pretty fantastic. Today's video sponsor is the Songoda Marketplace, and if you are looking for any type of unique or custom plugin for your Minecraft server, there is quite a bit of selection over there, so make sure you guys go check them out using the link down in the description, and you can find some great plugins for your server. Now I want to show you guys how to make your own specific custom items. So we can do EI create, and then now we need the ID. So I'm going to call this Viper, and what I want this to do is I'm going to put a picture on the screen of what I want it to do. So I want it to be a golden sword. I want it to check if it's going to be right clicking, and I want to check if the player's health is less than or equal to 5, then we'll give them some regeneration, and that's kind of what I want to do with this specific item, and then they can use it how many times, but also have a cooldown as well. So let's go ahead and start off with the material. So we'll do golden sword, and we can go ahead and change that. And there is so many things within the GUI. I just recommend go through them just on your own time and see what all the different options that are there, because there is quite a bit and there's so much you can change, which is really cool, guys. So we can go ahead and enter this. I'm just gonna do like some arrows right here. So we'll do and we'll do Viper Sword, right? And then I wanted to enter the E right there, and then we'll do the arrows facing the other way. So the reason I put the E there is because this and in is underlined, so it will underline that whole section right there, and that should be pretty good. So that looks fantastic, and you can see what it actually does look like. The final outcome of the item is down here, and then we can change it up here if you want to do it again. Next we have our lore, and so with the specific item, I want to be able to let the players know that hey, this is going to be activated when you have 5 hearts or less. So let's go ahead and add the lore to that, and I really like this whole editing system. He has done a fantastic job with this. It is pretty great. So I want to edit the first line here, so we'll edit the lore, and we'll just say make this little red, and we'll say right click to activate Viper effects. Alright, we'll go ahead and say that, and there we go. That looks pretty fantastic. And I want to also tell the player that they need to have 5 hearts or less. So we can add a new line, and I want to add a new line, and I'm just gonna do and E. This is just represents a color code or a space, so there will be a space, so it's not all bunched together. I think it looks a lot better in my opinion, but you can add your whatever lore lines that you want. And then we can type in our new line right here, and we'll just say you must have we'll do 5 hearts or less to activate, just like so. And we'll go ahead, and that looks good, so we can finish that. And if we hover over it, it does say right click to activate the Viper effect. You must have 5 hearts or less to activate. I must say that looks pretty good. So that is done with the lore. Next up is the usage settings, and so we can set the specific amount of time where a player can use it. So currently it is set to 1, but you can set it to -1 to be infinite. For this specific material is the sword, I want it to be infinite use. And then you can set a specific limit. I'm going to leave it to -1. You can cancel the drops, so I want to set that to false because I want players to be able to drop the sword. There's also some premium settings in here as well. Keep it on false, I'm going to keep that false. And then with this plugin, you can actually set up custom join items as well. So if you wanted to give it to a specific slot number, that would be a nice setting right there. And then some more premium settings. And then we have enchantments. So I'm going to head and add, let's do like add sharpness 3 to my sword. So we can go to our enchantment section, and it's really nice because you can just click on these messages and it adds it just like so. It's really helpful, guys. And we'll go ahead and add level 5, I guess, because why not? So we have our sharpness at level 5, and that looks fantastic. We could add a new enchantment on this as well. Let's go ahead and do we'll do fire aspect, because why not? Fire aspect is pretty good. We'll do fire aspect 3 for this one, and we'll go ahead and make the enchantment. So those are our 2 enchantments, and you can make as many in here as you want, which is fantastic. Next we have attributes. I actually really like this section because there is all the attributes right here where you can change specific things. So if you want to add things to your armor or generic toughness, you also have luck here, attack speed, knockback. So I want to actually do attack speed. So let me go ahead and sort of filter all the way down, and there we go. You just click on it to change, and all your attributes are right there, which is really helpful. UID, don't really need to change that. If you want to change the name, you can. So I'll just call this Viper attribute. Right, we'll just call it that. And then the operation, so you can add number, you can add scalar, you can multiply the scalar operation. So really cool stuff right there. I'm just gonna keep the add number. I want to add about 3 to this and see what happens. And then you can check whatever slot that you wanted to have it on. So this is really cool because you could actually add your own custom enchants to check for armor or swords, or if it's offhand or on hand. So we're gonna be doing the normal hand because that we're gonna be checking right click, and then that looks pretty good. So let's create the attribute, and again, you can make as many in here as you want, which is pretty freaking sweet. Next we have our activators. So this is probably the most important thing. This is where it checks what you want to do with your specific item. So the activator appears in the message of the time left. So we'll call this Viper effects. So that would be the name right there. And then options, yes, I wanted to have it on right click. You can check if you do left or right click, but this one I'm going to do right click, and there's a lot more options that you can check from, you know, if you're PvPing or if a player gets hit by another player or entity, but that is with the premium plugin. Next we have a cooldown message, so I'm going to set that to true, and then you can do usage modification, but that is with the premium plugin as well. Cooldown I'm going to do about 10 seconds because I don't want them to spam the specific type of item that we have. And then conditions. So this is where my condition comes into play. We have player conditions, and there's quite a bit in here. You can check if the player is sneaking, not sneaking, swimming, flying, gliding, if they're in a specific world or region, which hooks on with World Guard, which is super fantastic. You can check if the player has permissions, and then this is the one that we're going to be using for my example, is checking if the player's health. So these are less than or equal to, and then here is equal to, greater than, and greater or equal to. So in my example, I want it to check if the player has 5 hearts or less, and then they can activate the specific ability. So I went ahead is less than or equal to 5, so that is perfect. So that looks freaking good, guys. So we'll go ahead and do that. You can also check some more additional items in here. I will leave that up to you guys to sort of mess around with those conditions, but player conditions are very helpful. So that is looking good. So we have some other item cooldowns, and then here is where we need to add our specific commands. So in here we can add, you know, fun particle effects. You can do the fly, that would be like for a fly voucher. You can pseudo the player, action bar, send a message, a lot of cool stuff right here. And then on top here is some of the variables that you can use within the messages. So the players, the target, slot items, and coordinates, and that works too, which is really nice. So what I want to do, first I'm going to do the particle effect, so it gives you a nice example of how that works. I want to change this to flame. We'll do flame right there. Quantity, I might bump this up because flame is pretty low, so we'll do about like 800, I think. Offset, I'm going to do about 1, and the speed, I want it to go about 1. And there is our first command. The next command I want to do is give the player regeneration. So we'll do effect give, and then the player's name, because we're using this placeholder right here. So effect give, and then we'll do regeneration, and then we'll do it for like 10 seconds, and then we'll do 2. And so this is going to be the specific power of the effect. So this would actually be regeneration 3 because it does start from 0. So that is going to be regeneration 3 for 10 seconds is what will happen when a player right clicks on the sword. Then the last thing I want to execute is the round. So any players around will do like a radius of 10. We'll message the player. I'm going to set this to false. Command that we want to execute, this is just going to be, we'll give the affected player poison because we have a Viper sword. So this will all come into play. So we'll do effect give, and then we'll do target for the placeholder. We'll give them poison for about 7 seconds. So that is all our commands. That looks freaking good, so we'll go ahead and finish that. So that is pretty much everything, guys. So now we can save this to the activator, and then we can go back to the main config, and there's a few other additional things that you can change right here. I want to hide the attributes, so we'll go ahead and hide those. And then this is what the sword will look like. That looks good. Now we need to make sure to save that, and there we go. Now it is saved and it is in our specific item category. Now we can test our item, so we'll go ahead and give myself the Viper sword, and it does have the fire aspect 3 and sharpness 5. So say you're PvPing, you know, you are less than 5 hearts, and we can right click. We have really cool particle effects, and we have the message, and it gave us our regeneration. So then we can go on to PvP, and as you see, the specific health, we are past 5 hearts already, so we can't even activate it again. So let's go ahead and give myself some more like poison. So we'll poison myself very quickly, and we'll go ahead and try to right click now, and there we go, right click we did, and we can't right click anymore because of our cooldown. And so now we are past 5 hearts, so that is looking perfect, guys. So hope you did enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.